Well, if you could have too much fun, that's what we're doing here. At the 12th Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival, the streets are packed even though it's raining. I think it stopped, but we're having a lot of fun. People are getting inspired, empowered, and I'm here with George Pakenham. He's a pain in the neck from New York, I gotta tell you, and he's doing great work. He's got a film called Idle Threat, and he's talking about Idle Threat? Idle Threat. He's talking about idling cars and trucks in New York. And how many, oh, that's nationwide, 6 million gallons?
No, it's a
billion.
There's a waste of 6 billion gallons, Michael.
6 billion gallons?
6 billion gallons at a cost of $20 billion every year as
You're
projected.
leaving your car engine on.
Leaving your car engine on and wasting fuel at curbside. That's the size of it.
So you spent 7 years on Emission and its film. Tell us about it.
So to speak, 7 years, yeah. In 2005, I discovered a law in New York City from 1971 that forbids engine idling at curbside for trucks, buses, and cars. I discovered the law, and I discovered it wasn't being enforced, so I began to enforce the law myself as a vigilante.
He goes around tapping on people's windows in New York. Cojones. Can I say that?
Well,
Talk about the experience that you had, though, with
it was,
people.
you know, it was a 5-year scientific study. I kept an Excel spreadsheet on every encounter that I had at curbside. And
You're a banker in your other life, right?
I am a banker. I never quit my day job doing this
it.
environmental work, but yeah, I was sort of meticulous about it. But I wanted to have science behind what I was doing because I knew that sooner or later I'd be in front of authorities in some way, shape, or form in government or at an ecological group, and I'd want to have a statistical backlog to present to them. And along that path, I produced a demo to a documentary, and then I put it all together and worked with the Environmental Defense Fund in unison with them to approach.
You found a soul sister there, didn't you?
I sure did. Isabel Silverman was one of the attorneys there, and we worked together. We made a pledge that we were going to make a great effort to try to eliminate curbside engine idling in the city of New York. And the film depicts some of that.
So now you got a film, Idle Threat, and you got a book to go along for children's, Big Nose, Big City. What's that about?
Well, I wanted to address, I figured that the film itself would be for the adult audience, but not just for folks in an urban area. It apply in urban area of New York. It applies to all the urban areas, as far as I'm concerned, hundreds of cities of middle and large size throughout North America and around the world. But, and it's an entertaining venue as far as I'm concerned. But I wanted to have one more element to it, and that would be a companion children's book. And Michael, how many documentary films have a companion children's book?
I don't know very many.
Yeah. So I wanted to produce one. It's called Big Nose, Big City, and it takes the problem of curbside idling in a big city and puts it through the perspective and the nose of a bloodhound dog. And it's an entertaining little adventure story.
What's the dog's name?
Cyrano.
I love it.
Yeah, here we're talking.
Cyrano.
Yeah, Cyrano.
That's good.
So that's a companion children's book. It's available on Amazon right now. The film Idle Threat has a distributor out of San Francisco, and that group is called The Video Project, and they handle distribution in the college market, 4,000 colleges, 18,000 high schools, all the libraries in North America, all the nonprofit groups, all the governmental agencies, and community screenings. So if
I love it when us environmentalists make a few bucks on our work. That's great.
Well, it's, you know,
is it selling? Are they buying it?
Oh yeah, I had my first face-to-face meeting with them just a few days ago in San Francisco, and it's doing very well. Thank you.
Good. What do you think about out here in Nirvana City? We're in the heart of beauty. You come from downtown Manhattan, huh?
I'm very comfortable in this environment. I love the outdoors and have done a lot of mountain climbing actually in my life, and so I'm very entranced by everything I've seen so far.
I hope you get to the Yuba River.
I don't know much about it. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, we'll tell you a lot. That's what started this whole thing with Circle, the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and we have a theme. This is the 12th annual, and the issue, which is right up your line this year, is empowerment and inspiration.
Correct.
So tell us what inspired you and what empowered you to keep going.
Well, I love New York City. and I've lived there for 34 years. And so I began more and more to become aware of how polluted the streets were, and became aware in about 2005, 2006 of the fact that engine idle pollution was to blame. And so, you know, in fact, I have a story for you. One night, after pondering this for the longest time and not knowing quite what to do, I was coming home from an evening out with my friends, and there was this long stretch limo in front of, right almost from where I live, right in front of a restaurant. And the guy was idling. All of his customers were inside the restaurant. You know, it was a nice April evening. And I'm just saying, what should I do? And so I pondered it, and finally walked up to this total stranger and rapped on his window. He rolled down the window, and we just started to have this long conversation about why he was behaving the way he was doing, why he was wasting the fuel, why even his customers were inside the restaurant. And it wasn't an attack, it was just a conversation. And at about 10 minutes into it, I convinced him to shut his engine off. So in terms of motivation, that first encounter presented me with a great deal of motivation to continue on and to find out more about it. And at that point in time, Michael, I didn't even know there was a law against it in New York City. And later, I had another encounter with a limo driver who was an undercover cop, and he told me that there was a law against it, and then I began this whole research about the law, how it wasn't being enforced, who should enforce it, et cetera, et cetera.
You know what inspires me about you, George? You kept going. 7 years he kept going on this. So don't forget that. That's what makes the difference, is sticking to it, doesn't it?
Persistence, one of the quotes from the film is persistence is alone omnipotent, which is a quote from Calvin Coolidge, as a matter of fact.
That's great.
And that was sort of my watchword as I proceeded.
Thanks so much for being here, George. This is Michael Stone from the 12th Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival. George Pakenham, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.